So I went to Goa, India and created 4 large-scale functional art cooling installations, each standing 2.5 meters tall. The process of making these large-scale installations was tough, and I experienced a lot of setbacks and realized that there was no way I could pull off such a large-scale project all by myself. So I partnered up with my friend Lakshmi Das, who lives in the area, and collaborated with local potters and welders to bring the project to life. After months of planning and online meetings, I finally arrived in India and met Lakshmi, my project partner. Together, we're bringing evaporative cooling to the Serendipity Arts Festival. Landing in the hot dry season of Goa, the first thing I reached for was my moisturizer, which I usually hate. My skin would get all dry and flaky as I adjusted coming from humid Bali. This time, dry air meant something else. Ideal conditions for evaporative cooling. We connected with potters and welders and went to beach shacks and restaurants on the search for scrap bamboo, recycling wherever possible.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get all the bamboo we needed, but we got a very generous donation from Vedic Valley Resort, and we bought some as well.
For the terracotta tubes, Lakshmi met with Mr. Potter and visited his wonderful studio while I was still in Bali prototyping.
I got some amazing insight and footage into traditional pottery and what it means to keep a decades-old legacy alive today, while learning just how
zig
skilled and
like this,
precise
like this
master
slowly.
potters truly are.
You become thin, you too big. And sit.
I don't think I'm made for pottery.
After marking and cutting all the bamboo, we had to gather everything in one place. Piece by piece, it finally started to come together, and we had our first frame ready for testing. Once all the bamboo was collected, we spent hours cleaning them and started filling up our first frame. With the festival approaching fast, we rushed to paint the frames. We didn't quite finish in time, so some final touches had to be done right at the festival venue itself, along with cleaning the final pieces of bamboo. We tested different water systems, using multiple pumps, different pipe setups, and ways of distributing the water.
The idea was to pump the water to the top and let it trickle down through the pyramid of terracotta and bamboo tubes. And that worked with the terracotta, but with the bamboo, it was a bit more complicated.
Each piece grew slightly differently, slanted and uneven, so stacking them evenly took way longer than expected. We had to restack again and again just to get it level. We also tested making small holes along the pipe to spread the water. Camera. But it worked.
Get closer. Yeah, no, you can.
Finally, we got our water here. Let's see how it goes.
Nope, it doesn't go.
But that reduced the pressure too much. The water wouldn't even reach the top and only soaked one side properly.
So, we adapted and combined both ideas, pumping the water up to the top, letting it flow down naturally, and adding a few larger holes where needed to help evenly wet the surface. All that was left now, packing up.
And making our way to... Across the 9 days of the festival, the 4 cooling leaves were placed in a circle that surrounded a workshop space. Every day, people stopped by to check it out, and most importantly, to feel the cool breeze for themselves. A lot of curious visitors asked questions, and some even wanted one of their own. It sparked so many conversations about sustainability, climate change, and how we can cool spaces naturally. In the middle of all the festival chaos, I tried to collect as much data as possible, using a sling wet bulb thermometer and a temperature and humidity sensor, and found that the terracotta could drop temperatures up to 7 degrees Celsius, and the bamboo up to 4 degrees Celsius. The data collection varied a lot, especially in Bali with the constant change in weather. The data collected in tropical Bali during November, with humidity levels up to 90%, ranged from a 0.4 to a 2.3 degree temperature drop without fan assistance for the terracotta prototype, and a 0.7 to 3 degree temperature drop with fan assistance. And for the bamboo prototype, it was surprisingly similar, with a range from a 0.2 to 1.6 degree temperature drop without fan assistance, and a 0.5 to 2 degree temperature drop with fan assistance. The data in subtropical Goa during the dry season in December and January, with humidity levels ranging from 50 to 60%, was more consistent, as the weather conditions were stable. It was always hot and sunny, with relative low humidity. For the terracotta cooling leaf, temperature drops ranged from a 2 to a 5 degree temperature drop without fan assistance, and a 4.5 to 7 degree temperature drop with fan assistance. For the bamboo cooling leaf, temperature drops ranged from a 1 to a 3.5 degree temperature drop without fan assistance, and a 4 to 5 degree temperature drop with fan assistance. As expected, the results show that evaporative cooling was significantly more effective in Goa's hot, dry conditions than in Bali's humid climate. However, fan-assisted airflow consistently improved cooling performance. Interestingly, the lower performance of bamboo in Goa, compared with its similar performance to terracotta in Bali, indicates that under high humidity conditions, the choice of material becomes less important, because the moisture-saturated air limits evaporation regardless of the material being used.